Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me, and we have arrived at the point of the week where everybody gets mad at me for my opinions. So let's take a look at some comments from last week. Coral Daddy says, most delusional list I've seen in a while, skull emoji, but he does not provide any sort of context or any sort of rationalization for why it's delusional, so invalid comment. Jack DeGrief says, Packers at 14 is diabolically low. I disagree. And the Warrior says Washington literally beat the Bengals. GMG. Washington is 3 ranks lower than the Bengals. Okay, so I do have an apology to the Warrior 5. My Washington takes have been bad. So bad that is why I've put the NFC East first. Let's talk about it. We'll start, though, with the Eagles, who lost to Tampa Bay, a loss that I did predict. I did feel like Tampa Bay would rebound after their embarrassing loss a week prior. The Eagles, I just think, are too one-dimensional. If you stop the run, you beat this team. Their defense is not good. They allow so many yards through the air, and their passing attack is pretty much irrelevant with, obviously without A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, which we saw this week, but even with those two guys, I haven't been convinced. So, to be honest, I see a path where the Eagles slip out of playoff contention, truly. I do think they have enough, if they can get healthy soon, to be Week 18 Warriors, to make a wild card run. And part of me is just doing that because I know if I do this, the comments will blow up immediately. So we're going to put them in Week 18 Warriors, but understand they're on thin ice. The Cowboys got a win against the Giants, a non-convincing win, and this is a team that I have had in the Super Bowl conversation this year, and I have to peel that back a little bit. So I'm also going to put them in the Week 18 Warriors. This division is too tough. The race is too tight, and I am not sure. The Washington Commanders are leading the division. You heard me. They are first right now in the NFC East. I think this team may have been in wins the draft at one point this series this year. Their offense is moving. Now, have they played a stellar top 10 defense yet? No. Will they be able to do what they have been able to do against a team like that? I don't know. But I would love to watch. Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, they have this offense rolling, truly. And there is something in me that wants to make a bit of a bold prediction. And this is maybe where the comments are going to come in. That's fine. I think the Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East. Now, listen, I get it. I fall victim to recency bias all the time. This could be my dumbest position placed ever in the history of these ranking videos. But you have to make bold predictions if you want to get the cheddar. I'm not betting on that, but you can get him at plus 290 to win the division if you are interested over on FanDuel. And the Giants wins the draft. We're not talking about the Giants. But Malik Nabers does look good. He should have a future there. The Falcons, I get it, guys. They have an easy schedule. They won this week against the Saints, albeit by a pass interference call at the end of the game and a 58-yard field goal. It took a lot to get it done. They did get it done. I do think because of their schedule, they should be in a conversation for the playoffs, but it's not comfortable yet. I think they can suffer losses to the Saints when they have to go to New Orleans, and potentially a loss this Thursday to the Buccaneers, and then a loss to the Buccaneers again this year. So I just don't really believe in this team. They don't average more than 20 points a game. Their defense is keeping them in games, but I just am not really sold on this team. So the Saints, I think kind of the same. We saw them really rise to the top, and I think that was more about the teams they played. Being the Eagles maybe aren't as good as we thought, and the Cowboys are certainly not as good as we thought. And so the Saints wins were inflated. So again, this is a team that I think could be a Week 18 Warrior. Tampa Bay has been my pick to win this division. Yes, they suffered a bad loss to Washington, but maybe that's because, not to Washington, sorry, they beat Washington. To, who did they lose to? They beat the Lions. They lost to a bad team. Okay, so forgive me for not remembering. It was last week. The point is, I think this team still has what it takes and has what it takes to win this division. And so that is going to be my pick for these Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this division. And I feel a sneeze coming on, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I went to my friend's house yesterday, side note, and he has a cat. And I've showered twice since I've been home, but it's like the cat dander got up into my nostril holes and is just housing itself there. I'm allergic to cats, by the way. So we got the Panthers wins the draft. Although Andy Dalton is giving this team a chance to stay in games. The Cardinals have just not been on the right side of the win-loss column. There's no other way to say it. They're not playing horribly. But their defense isn't getting the job done when they need to, and I'm starting to believe that this team is a 6-11 ball club. The Seahawks did lose last night to Detroit. It was closer, I think, than the scoreboard says. Seattle was missing, I believe, 4 to 5 defensive starters, and I believe that is why Detroit was able to put up 42 points. I think Seahawks are good. What I saw, that sounds ridiculous. I think Seahawks are good. Their offense last night looked a way I've never seen. Truly. Okay. Ryan Grubbs is doing beautiful work as the offensive coordinator. Geno Smith is allowed to open up. They were still running the ball well. Walker had 3 touchdowns last night. So I think if they can get healthy on defense, they should be able to come back and solidify a playoff spot. So I'm going to put Seattle in comfy playoffs. I don't want to jinx them. I don't want to do that to my team. And I know that after a loss, it's probably not good to move them up. But I think that they showed me a lot in a loss, and a lot of their loss had to do with their injuries, which hopefully they can recover from. The Rams, though, lose to the Bears, and I think that is a tough break. I know their injuries are vast. And I'm going to give them one last chance. We're going to put them in the category and say if they can get healthy soon, maybe they can make a run. But right now, they're on the outside looking in. 49ers get it. The 49ers get it a much-needed win against the Patriots. A team that is not leading the division. Seattle is still leading the division, but a team that I fully expect to win this division. And I think now, if you want to make any futures bet on the 49ers, it is going to be for the Super Bowl. I think they're a complete team. And I think if Christian McCaffrey, even if he's not able to come back, I think this team is still very complete. I know they lost to Minnesota last week. What are you doing? Move them down. Be realistic. This is not going to be a delusional list. This is going to be a very solid list. We're going to put them in comfy playoffs. I think they get the wild card or win the NFC West. The Bears did win this week, but it's not a team that I expect to go very far. It's between 6-11 and but I think it's closer to 6-11. The Lions are my most frequent Super Bowl conversation team. And I think their game against Minnesota, which has got to be coming up soon, will tell us a lot. I'm going to keep them here because when the Lions are in the Super Bowl this year, I'm going to have people come back and apologize in my videos and say, you called it. You called it from week 1, week 2, week 3. You held strong to the Lions in the Super Bowl. This is a very balanced team with a lot of weapons, and I think they have all that it takes on paper to make a run. We're going to put them there. Yes, I know Jordan Love's back. Yes, I know people who watch this video are just Packers fans. I don't know what that's about. Just everybody wants me to love the Packers. I think the NFC is pretty loaded, and I don't know if they win. Actually, I know they don't win the division, so they have to get a wild card. And I'm already accounting for a wild card from Seattle, potentially 1 or 2 from the NFC. I think it just there's not enough seats at the table. And I just don't trust the Packers. I don't trust Matt LaFleur. Okay, I think that they did lose this week. Their defense looked bad, as it's looked kind of bad all season. Their offense gave them a chance to win, but Christian Watson, we can expect that he's probably going to be out for a few weeks, if not extended time with his injury. They're losing, weapons. I think they're not relying on Josh Jacobs enough. They're putting too much pressure on Jordan Love to get things done. So I'm going to move them down to and I realize that may offend people. The Vikings got the win, like I said, against the Packers. It wasn't, overly convincing because of what happened in the fourth quarter. 21 points for the Packers, but it was still a very good win. And I'm going to put them in comfy playoffs. Now, this is the NFC. We're going to do what we did last week and reorder this into something that is reasonable. I think the Lions, if I had to take a team right now to be the NFC representative for the Super Bowl, I would take the Lions. All right? Ed, you can scold me. and that's fine. Next, I would say it's probably, I realize these teams played head-to-head, and so logically you put the Vikings here, but in my heart of hearts, I still think if this game was played in San Francisco would have won, right? I think San Francisco is a better team. I realize they played head-to-head. These games are not in a vacuum, guys, okay? So I'm going to put San Francisco as a better team than the Vikings, and I recognize that these teams have played head-to-head and this team lost, okay? Just like have a little bit of the ability to see some nuance, please, okay? But I will keep the Vikings second. I'll put Seattle third. I'll put these two teams played ahead as well, but I think Washington has showed me more lately and got some more convincing wins. So I'm going to put Washington above Tampa Bay. I know that's a little bit wild. Ranking this row, I'll put I'm going to put the Cowboys. I'm going to put these two on top of each other. Okay, these two are identical. Trust me. And then I'll put the Saint, but the same. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this because you guys are going to get mad at me. I'm going to put the Eagles here. I'm doing this order so you guys don't get mad. I don't agree with this, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, these two teams, I'll put the Packers better than the Rams. I'll put the Cardinals over them, and I'll put this over this. Okay, so this would be my NFC ranking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get the idea. All right. Moving on to the AFC in this rather long rankings video. We got the Houston Texans, who got a much-needed win against a divisional rival, although it was not easy. This team will make the playoffs because their division is not good. The Colts did also get a win. They were the underdogs. They beat the Steelers. The Steelers just struggle on offense. And this team, I think, is better with Joe Flacco. Anthony Richardson gets hurt. They say he's day-to-day, which means he could be back. But I think they are better off riding Joe Flacco. I don't think this team has enough to make a true, authentic run, so we're going to put them in the category. The Jacksonville Jaguars did look better. Probably looked the best this week than they've ever looked, but I still don't think this team wins more than 6 games, which is crazy. The Titans also got a win on Monday night, but again, Mason Rudolph, start him. Okay, this guy carried the Steelers last year at the end and looked darn good doing it. I was surprised he didn't get a starting job. The starting job goes to Will Levis. Will Levis gets hurt, and Rudolph takes him to a victory. However, I don't know if they win 6 games, so wins the draft. The Chiefs are, this is what I was thinking last night. We give a lot of praise to Patrick Mahomes, full stop, right? I have been outspoken on this channel about giving more to Andy Reid and the system that he's been in, the weapons that they've put around him. But we also need to acknowledge this division has probably been one of the worst divisions in the NFL since Patrick Mahomes arrived. In the last 6, 7, 8 years, has there been a worse division than the AFC West? I don't know. I can find that out. But I think he also has the privilege of playing 6 games a year that are almost free wins. Although the game this weekend was not almost free, the Chargers kept it close, kept it competitive. But, of course, the Chiefs come out with a victory, comfy playoffs. Not a Super Bowl team this year. Rashee Rice's injury, which is likely going to keep him out the year, I think hurts. So they're losing weapons. Travis Kelce is irrelevant in this offense. I don't know what's going on there. So a lot of questions for this team. But because of what they're set up against, I think it's comfy playoffs. Yes, the Chargers lost. Yes, Herbert played well. Yes, this team is staying in games. Is there a path for this team to get a wild card? I do think so, especially if we chalk up 4 automatic wins between these two teams. So maybe the Chargers find a way in the AFC to squeak into a wild card. I do see that as a possibility. We'll put them in Week 18 Warriors. The Broncos did win against the Jets. Crazy enough, Bo Nix had 60 yards passing in a win. This team is still not going to win 6 games. The Raiders lost. No, the Raiders won. The Raiders won to the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, the Raiders got a victory. They might get 4 more. The Bills lost embarrassingly. And what's tough about that is I was so convinced after last week that this was the team. This was the team in the AFC. How short-sighted I am. The Bills can't lose games like that and still be in the Super Bowl conversation. Now, they can be in comfy playoffs, given that their division is falling off a map as we speak, but I'll move them out of Super Bowl conversation. All right, Jets did lose. Do they have a shot at the playoffs now? I mean, I think I'll put them in because they're to punish them because of their loss, but I do think they probably have a shot at the wild card. The Patriots lost again. Why is Drake May not starting? Jacoby Brissett is not the guy. Like, let's approach practice this week as if Drake May is starting. Let's give him the reps because this is ridiculous. Wins the draft. The Dolphins wins the draft. I don't know what happened with this team. A team that people were predicting to win this division. Tua, Tyreek Hill, top 10 in MVP odds. I know Tua's hurt, but still tough losses. The Bengals are a team that I need to come back on. And someone in the comments last week, Taxi Mike, pointed out a very good point that I had them probably ranked too low. With their schedule, I know they had a bad start. This is a team that, although is 1-3, and mathematically speaking, that's going to be a tough uphill battle, has a shot, has a way. So we're going to put them in Week 18 Warriors and say that they have a wild card chance right now. You know who doesn't have a wild card chance, and I was completely wrong about? It's the Browns. Do the Browns get 6 wins? Maybe. And so we're going to put them there. The Ravens, do I do it? A convincing win over Dallas? A convincing win over the Bills? Do we forget about the Raiders' loss now? And do we do it? Do we go back to, I think, our Week 1 video where we had this as our Super Bowl matchup? I think we do. I'm doing it. All right. And then finally, the Steelers. Fields looked okay. We'll put them in, there's a path. All right. So this would be my Super Bowl matchup if I had to pick right now. All right. And you can scold me. That's fine. Ranking the AFC teams as they relate to the NFC teams, I'm going to slide the Texans up here. And I'm going to put them above Seattle, but below Minnesota. The Chiefs, I really think, would lose to these 4 teams. So I'm going to do that. And then the Bills, I think, would beat the Chiefs. And the Seahawks, and potentially the Texans. I know that the Bills lost this week, but I still think they're better than these teams. Ranking the AFC teams as it relates to these NFC teams, I think the Chargers are probably about there, and I think the Bengals could probably beat a lot of these teams if played now. So I'm going to put the Bengals here. They only won against the Panthers by 10 and you're sliding them up here. Whatever. It's fine. This section, I think Steelers are probably one of the last with the Jets, Colts. Like this might be the order. Maybe I would do that. I guess I would do that. And then this row, we'll do, I don't even know. Like, I don't even like looking at these teams. These are all the same team with different mascots. I mean, I don't think I can adequately rank these teams. Well, I'm going to try, though. Okay? We're going to do this. But, this team beat this team. This team lost to this team. So, you know what? I'm done. This video is far too long anyway. You rank the rest, okay? You want to write in the comments these teams that are irrelevant, you go ahead, all right? So, sorry, a little chaotic today, but that's what I have for you. This is my official rankings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The top 10 teams in the NFL are right here. And then you got the rest, okay? So make sure you come back in the weeks to come, in the days to come for my other videos. I'm drinking pop for the first time in 16 years on Sunday. Check out that video if you would like to see the rules of the contest that I have created for myself. Otherwise, have a good day, have a good life, and we'll see you next time.